Okay. Um, let's watch something real quick together and then we'll figure it out.
So if you're 23, if you're 37, and you're listening to this and you're like, God, I'm behind, or I'm not where I want to be, or where I want to be is right around the corner. Dude, till 40, it's just research. That should be our cultural slogan.
Well, you heard it. So life begins at 40. Now, what what do I think about this and why did I bring this up? So this is a cope, in my opinion. And as much as I would like to agree and accept this, that everything up until 40, I'm 43, is research, I would not recommend this as a standard. Or they're saying that they're writing here, everything else is just a dress rehearsal. Now, from a Alan Wattsian philosophical point of view, you may get away with this. Maybe. I'm not sure. But he would also urge you to consider that what you're doing is you're actually discounting the first 30, 40 years of your life. And if that doesn't matter, then that kind of negates the whole idea of us being in a journey or in a play with life. It's maybe even a narrative delusion that basically negates everything. And I'm going to start with that. What I will say, and again, I will risk you risk where this steps into a dangerous pathology is that you're risking stagnation and saying, "Hey, fuck it, I'm 20 or 25 or 30. This is all meaningless. It's almost nihilism. This doesn't have any impact. Life starts at 40. That's a problem." Now, if we're looking at this from a Jungian point of view, I'm looking down because I have notes. From a Jungian point of view, he does say that individuation, which is what he believed and framed as the important process that we start living out of expectations in our internal compass and our internal path. I would say that Jung would probably agree with this guy. I would probably say that this guy, they seem like their heart is in the right place. So I would say that if we're looking at this from a Jungian point of view, and we're saying, hey, the 20s and 40s were prep work, I could almost get away with that. I would allow people to get away with it. But what's the problem? What are my problems with this? My problems are these. This kind of thinking. Again, I'm 43 right now. I'm not at the best place financially. I have a lot of things that I'm working with. I'm working through, and I believe that I'll make it out of them pretty good. I'm optimistic, almost to a point of delusion. But I don't recommend this to anybody. I don't think this is recommended. I think it's a bad idea. I think society is built around people having families and doing things when they're younger. And I think that's not a bad thing. And most people, we're talking about Alan Watts and Jung, most people would be very smart if they understood that neither Alan Watts or Jung believed that the path is for everybody. Jung, when he talks about individuation, he implies, or sometimes outright says, I'm not sure, that not everyone is ready, prepared, willing to go through this process hardships, challenges to reach the point of individuation. Alan Watts about suffering and all those things. Not everyone is ready to, or willing, or prepared, as I said again, to open this can of worms in order to reach some point of enlightenment. And here I'm going to be very super careful about this, because there is no enlightenment. If anybody knows me and knows what I promote, there is no secret. There is no point that you're supposed to get to. But what I'm saying is that it's not for everyone, and I am definitely against romanticizing hardship. This whole hustle thing, hustle culture, that you have to suffer for your art or suffer for your success and all these things. While I believe that hard work and having grit is important, it would be very dangerous to use this as a cop-out for your mistakes, for recognizing that you made mistakes. And I'll tell you more than that. Even if and when I I believe I will reach my goals, it would still not mean that I paid my dues, because I don't believe that the universe, the world, God, anybody you want to think about, I don't think it works that way. I don't think that there's cost-benefit analysis going up in the sky or in a different dimension that says, okay, Zohar has suffered enough, he paid in blood, and now we're going to give him the goodies. That is absolutely against my belief system. Why would you want to suffer? Why would you romanticize suffering? Suffering is suffering. It's real. You could say, again, philosophically, that all suffering leads to growth and all that. Okay, no problem. But it's still suffering. It still fucking sucks. Getting raped, pardon my language, getting assaulted, losing all your money, all these things are bad, subjectively and objectively. There's no reward waiting for those. That is, if in Nietzschean terms, that's slave morality. I'll get it because I'm being good right now, a good sufferer. That's I'm very much against that. Now, and another thing that is very important for me to mention, I don't think I'm special. I think I'm an extreme person, not in a good way necessarily. I think that if I could pass up on all the things I went through, I would have. I gotta be honest with you. I'm an extreme person. I do things in an extreme way. Most people aren't, and that is a good thing. Most people have a good mentality that is balanced. They're neither very, very sad or very, very happy. They're not obsessed with winning, or are they extreme losers? Most people are kind of in the middle, like everything else. It's a normal distribution, basically. I am an extreme person. That's neither a bad or a good thing. That's the way it is. If somebody comes to me in 10 years, 20 years, or even today, asks me for advice, I will never tell them. I would never tell them. A young person would never tell them, listen, screw society, do whatever you want, you're perfect as is. Because that would be a lie. That would be me saying that my path is the right path. And my path is my path, not necessarily the right path. There's nothing to be sold here. I don't have any courses. I don't have anything to tell you. Now, the last thing I will say, because this is an angle that I often talk about, is the female angle. Saying to a woman that life starts at 40 is insanity. Biologically speaking, women in their 40s are less fertile. If a woman thinks that her 20s and her 30s are some kind of what they said here, some kind of a dress rehearsal, they are wrong. A woman that would come to me and say something, of course I said about a man that I wouldn't recommend living like this. If a woman told me I'm 20. I wouldn't tell her throw caution to the wind. No. I don't think everybody needs to be super conformist, but there are good things in society. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Getting married early is nice. Marrying your high school sweetheart is good. Having less partners is good. Having less experience means having less baggage. That goes both ways, but especially for women. That is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. They've marketed this experience as a good thing. It's not. Most people, when they go through a lot of hardship, come out bitter and jaded. Most women that spend their 20s partying come out in their 30s in other ways. Most women who spend their 20s and 30s being boss girls and career driven don't get to have a family or a good family at the end of that trip for biological reasons, psychological reasons, etc. So to wrap this up, even though I appreciate the sentiment, even though this is hopium, I love it. I want to believe that life begins at 40 and everything else was a dress rehearsal. It is not the truth. It is not the truth. It's counterproductive. It's true that we start flourishing mentally, especially men, in our 40s and beyond. Especially if you have a family, especially if you went through some things or maybe built a business or built a career or whatnot. That is true. Or even not, even if you didn't, even if you start just understanding, like I said, Jung, who was obviously a much smarter person than I am, built his whole theory around this, his whole philosophy. 40 is when you calm down. I get that. Is when the individuation process really, really takes place. I agree. But we would be stupid, irresponsible, and actually kind of dickheads for telling people and going to the extreme with this and saying this is all just a dress rehearsal. It is not a dress rehearsal. Life is happening now. Whether you're 40 or you're 20, it's literally fucking happening right now. Whatever's happening, it's happening right now. It's reality. It's not a dress rehearsal. This is it. The game's on. The whistle has been blown. The gun's been shot. It's on. And I'm not saying that to make you hustle or whatever. I'm just saying that there is that is reality. We want to be in a place where we are accepting the passage of time, and that we're accepting our mistakes, and we're accepting what happened to us, radically accepting it. And if you can, take it as a positive experience that helped you grow, if you can. But we're definitely not calling 40 fucking years of existence dress rehearsal. Thank you. Love you. Bye.